If you have been trading for more than 2 years and you are still unprofitable, then there is something completely wrong with your trading that you must fix. See, I've been day trading for 6 years, and for my first 2.5 years, I was unprofitable. It wasn't until I fixed these 3 areas of my trading that I'm going to be sharing with you in this video that my trading finally turned around and I was able to finally become a profitable trader and start consistently getting payouts from prop firms. But again, this is where it gets even more interesting because most traders ignore area number 3 that I'm going to be sharing with you in this video. So make sure you get to find out exactly what that is, because this might be the reason you're actually still unprofitable. So make sure you get to find out exactly what that is so that you don't keep making the same mistakes that are made by the 90% of traders that fail and basically quit trading. And of course, if you happen to find value in this video, please help me like the video, because this actually tells YouTube that, you know what, people are getting value from this video, and it keeps sharing it with more other traders out there that are having the same problem. I don't know if you know this, but there's a big percentage of traders out there that basically just ignore placing or putting a stop loss on their trades. It is very common because this is the main reason people actually keep blowing account after account, because they think that maybe price is basically just going to continue going in the direction they've actually predicted. And guess what? Once price starts going against them, this is when that harsh reality actually kicks in, and they keep losing more and more. They keep hoping that maybe price is going to reverse back, but guess what? It keeps going against them, and they end up actually blowing their account. So for you as a trader, please, I'm requesting you, please always have a stop loss on each and every trade that you put on, because this is going to safeguard your account. This is basically like a blockage that if I'm wrong on this particular trading idea, I'll be actually taken out of this trade from here, because when it comes to these markets, you can't fully predict what exactly is going to be happening in the market. And again, speaking more about risk management, I keep seeing traders over risking, over leveraging. You cannot do that if you want to actually become a successful trader. If you want to finally turn profitable, you cannot over leverage on your trades. I like to always go by the golden rule that, you know what, on each trading idea that I'm going to be putting on, or basically each trade that I'm going to be placing, I stick to the golden rule that says 1% of my account. That's exactly what I risk on each trading idea. I don't go anywhere beyond the 1%. So it could be 0.5%, it could be 0.25%, or basically the 1% if I'm to actually go overboard. 1% is the maximum that I always go with. That alone will actually keep you in the game for a very long time, because I'll give you an example. If you are to actually blow that account, if you've been risking 1% per trading idea, it basically means it's going to take you 100 losses for you to finally blow that account. Do you know how much or how bad you have to be as a trader for you to actually get this kind of situation? You have to be the worst traders. You have to be the worst trader. Imagine yourself losing 100 trades in a row. Do you think it's possible? It's never possible. So stick to 1% or less. Even when you're on a red winning streak, you know, you're on a very hot winning streak, please do not get excited. Do not get greedy for you to think that maybe I've now conquered the markets and I can be able to risk as much as I can, because I keep seeing this again and again. A trader maybe goes on a winning streak of maybe 5 trades in a row and they get excited. That greed kicks in, and on the next trade, they risk maybe 10% to try and make as much as they can. And guess what? That's the trade they actually lose, and they end up giving up all that they've previously made and even get into much deep drawdown. So you don't want to be this kind of trader. Hope this is very clear to you. And then of course, more on risk management, I keep seeing this amongst traders basically having a negative risk to reward. You cannot trade with a negative risk to reward and hope, or basically think that you are going to turn profitable. It can never happen. In my opinion, what you always need to do is to have a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio or anything above this. If you can actually consistently trade this way, I can assure you, you will turn a profitable trader. Keep having a 1 to 2 or maybe a 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, not a very high risk to reward, because that might end up actually psychologically affecting you. Because I've seen traders trade, basically having a 1 to 10 risk to reward ratio that they're aiming for, a 1 to 20, especially when it comes to ICT traders. They keep doing this, but trust me, the higher your risk to reward, the lower your win rate is going to be. And if you, let's say, have a 20% win rate with that very high risk to reward ratio, basically what this means is that you're going to take 8 losses for you to get those 2 trades correct that are going to give you a 1 to 20. But can your psychology actually hold you through those 8 losses? I'm sure not. So always go for maybe a 1 to 2, a 1 to 3. Maximum, I would highly recommend you go at least maximum with a 1 to 4. That way you'll have a fairly good win rate and a good risk to reward ratio. So hope this is very clear. Now, when it comes to risk management, your goal as a trader, your number one goal should be always to protect your capital. Do not try and over risk, over leverage. That right there is what's going to actually take you out of the market. You must be able to preserve your capital for the longest time possible. Now, I'll tell you this. I've seen traders actually work on their craft, but as they are working on their craft, they are over risking, over leveraging, and then by the time they crack trading, or basically by the time they get to put all the pieces together to try and start trading well, this is the time they've exhausted all their capital. Basically, they have no more money to actually trade with. You don't want to be that type of trader. So make sure you always protect your capital. That should be your number one goal. And then, of course, the second reason is traders having poor psychology. I've seen this again and again. A trader might actually have one of the best strategies out there, but because they have poor psychology, they cannot make money from the markets, because maybe greed comes all over on them. Maybe they start revenge trading. They have all these poor psychological habits that basically keep them unprofitable for a very long time. Now, what do I suggest you actually do about this? Now, for you as a trader, I would suggest you highly work on your psychology, because this is very key. If you do not have the right psychology, you can never become a profitable trader. Try and work on your psychology. There are so many books out there. Of course, my personal favorite that I always recommend are basically 2 books. Number 1, Trading in the Zone. Try and read that book as much as you can. Then the other one, I would suggest you actually go for Market Wizards by Jack D. Schwager, or maybe you can even watch videos that can enable you actually improve your psychology. I also have this short class right here that can actually be able to help you with your psychology, because in that short class, I basically detailed everything that you need as a trader for you to become better when it comes to your psychology. You can go check out that class on Skillshare. It will definitely improve your psychology, especially if you're someone that has been struggling with your psychology for a very long time. I highly recommend that class. And maybe more to add on to your psychology, I would highly recommend you actually try and do everything mechanically. When it comes to your trading, I need you to actually make your trading as mechanical as possible. Find a mechanical strategy that basically keeps repeating each and every day, that basically tells you exactly how you need to enter and exit the market. And as well, draft a trading plan, because with the trading plan, it will remove all that impulsiveness that you might be having as a trader. If you can actually do this, trust me, you are going to become a much better trader that basically is going to start making money from the market. Now, number 3 is something I also see quite a lot, especially amongst traders, and that is the lack of a tested strategy, or basically a tested system that they can use to actually make money from the markets. I see traders every now and then, especially with today, we have social media. So basically a trader, maybe they watch someone on YouTube or maybe on TikTok or Instagram, and they share a particular strategy. So there and then they think that's the best strategy. They go over and then basically start trading that particular strategy. And then a few days down the road, they find that strategy is not profitable enough. So they quit that particular strategy and move on to the next, like that. So if you actually have no tested strategy, you can never become a profitable trader. So what do I exactly recommend? I need you to actually go out there and find a good strategy. Find a strategy with at least a 50% win rate. That right there is a good enough strategy. So what do you do next after finding the strategy? You need to actually sit and backtest that strategy with a minimum of 100 trades. If you can have this data of at least 100 trades that basically supports and gives you confidence as a trader, trust me, you will be able to become a much better trader and a profitable trader. This is all it takes, because you cannot imagine how much I've seen this. You know, a trader maybe has a strategy, but because they've gone on a losing streak of, let's say, 3 consecutive trades, their mind there and then tells them that, you know what, that strategy is not good enough. So they go and find the next strategy. And the same thing keeps continuing again and again, simply because they have no tested strategy. So for you, what exactly are you going to do? Go through everything I've just shared, try and find a good strategy, test it very well. Once you have data that actually backs that strategy, then go ahead and trade it without fail. Try and commit to that particular strategy. This is what's going to make you a profitable trader. If you can trade your strategy at least for a minimum of 6 months, that will give you enough data that actually proves to you that, you know what, this right here is a good strategy. Hope this is very clear to you. And in case you're one of those traders that is still having problems with your risk management, in this next 10-minute video, I clearly tell you and show you and basically teach you exactly how you need to actually be handling your risk management as a trader. So go ahead, check out that video. It will definitely change your risk management game.